But Amazon's identity map goes beyond Alexa. A single user can be a Prime Video viewer, a Kindle reader, a Twitch watcher, an Amazon Music listener, a Whole Foods shopper, a Fire TV user, a marketplace buyer, a reviewer, a subscriber, a cloud storage user, even an Audible listener. Each service feeds a different kind of behavioral signal. Prime Video reveals genre preferences. Kindle reveals attention span and reading pace. Twitch reveals community interests. Whole Foods purchases reveal nutrition patterns. And Amazon uses the combination not to profile you personally, but to reduce friction to make the path from desire to transaction as smooth as possible. Because friction is the enemy. Every second you spend thinking is a second where a purchase might die. Amazon's goal is to turn the buying process into something so seamless you barely notice it happened. One-click buying, saved payment methods, instant refunds, same-day delivery, all of it engineered to eliminate the moment of doubt. This is why the data is worth billions, because friction reduction scales infinitely. If Amazon saves half a second for 300 million users every single day, that's not a UX improvement. That's a financial engine. But the scale of Amazon's intelligence is so large now that predicting purchases isn't even the end goal. The real goal is to predict demand before demand exists, to shift from reacting to retail behavior to orchestrating it. So here's where all of this becomes a fortress, a moat so wide that even trillion-dollar competitors can't cross it. Amazon's predictive system doesn't just lower costs or improve convenience. It creates an environment where Amazon becomes the default destination for buying anything. Not because it forces you, but because you naturally drift toward the path of least resistance. When Amazon knows what customers will want, it can negotiate better with suppliers. It can pre-stock fulfillment centers near population clusters. It can optimize transportation routes weeks ahead. It can reduce waste, reduce errors, reduce stockouts, and reduce returns. Retail doesn't reward perfection, it rewards less chaos. And Amazon's predictive engine eliminates chaos at scale. Think about the competitive impact. A traditional retailer guesses demand based on last year's numbers. Amazon predicts demand based on real-time signals from hundreds of millions of active behaviors. One side uses history, the other uses live intention. It's not a fair fight. And yet, the most fascinating part is this. The system is still early. As more devices connect, as more services integrate, and as more households become part of the Amazon ecosystem, the predictive accuracy gets sharper. Not because Amazon collects more personal information, but because the pattern models get clearer. Every signal refines the cluster. Every cluster sharpens the forecast. This is why the data is worth billions. Not because it's personal, but because it's predictive. Prediction reduces risk. Reduced risk increases profit. Profit fuels scale. Scale produces more signals. More signals improve prediction. And the loop continues. But this brings us to a question the world hasn't fully answered. Is this level of prediction simply the next stage of retail, or a boundary we're crossing without noticing? Some see it as convenience. Some see it as efficiency. Some see it as an invisible trade-off, exchanging behavioral data for comfort and speed. And others wonder what happens when prediction becomes so accurate that the line between intention and influence disappears. So now it's your turn. Is this the future of retail inevitable, frictionless, algorithmic? Or is it a system we should question before it becomes too big to understand? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to go deeper into the business strategies shaping the world's biggest companies, make sure to subscribe. We've got much more coming. But to truly understand why Amazon's predictive engine is one of the most powerful business weapons ever built, we need to zoom out far beyond e-commerce. Because Amazon isn't just predicting what you'll buy, it's predicting the flow of the entire economy around you. Think about logistics. Most companies treat logistics as a cost center, a painful necessity. Amazon treats it like a mathematical prophecy. Every route a driver takes, every time a delivery arrives early, every time it arrives late, every time a package gets lost, damaged, or returned, all of that becomes training data. The system begins to understand which neighborhoods buy more tech, which cities return more clothes, which SKUs get damaged in which climates. Over time, Amazon's logistics network stops behaving like a shipping company and starts behaving like a neural network spread across continents. This is how same-day delivery became possible at scale, not because Amazon hired more drivers, but because Amazon learned to predict where products needed to be hours before demand actually hit. Traditional retailers react to customers. Amazon positions itself in front of customers. And then there's advertising and industry, Amazon quietly disrupted. Most people don't realize Amazon is now one of the largest digital ad platforms in the world. And unlike social networks, Amazon's ads are backed by pure commercial intent. When Amazon predicts what you're about to buy, advertisers don't just get impressions, they get conversion probability. This transforms ads into fuel. Sellers depend on it, brands rely on it, and Amazon earns billions simply by controlling the shelf where attention happens. But perhaps the most underrated layer of all is Amazon's ability to predict behavioral cycles. Humans aren't random. We live in loops. Weekly loops, monthly loops, seasonal loops, emotional loops. Amazon sees when households drift into stress buying patterns, when fitness kicks begin, when dietary changes start, when hobbies phase in and out. Amazon doesn't need to know why these shifts happen, it just needs to detect the rhythm. If enough households behave similarly, Amazon adjusts inventory across the entire network. Imagine being able to feel demand before it rises and reposition thousands of trucks, millions of units, and billions of dollars of product in advance. That's not retail, that's orchestration. And here's the real twist. Amazon's models don't think in terms of people. They think in terms of probabilistic clusters. You're not a single profile. You're a moving dot inside dozens of overlapping behavioral clouds. When the cloud moves, Amazon shifts with it. This means the system doesn't need to know your identity to predict your behavior. It only needs to understand your trajectory. Now imagine this trajectory over years. Amazon has seen you move cities, change jobs, shift hobbies, switch diets, start new routines, abandon old ones. It doesn't analyze these changes emotionally, it analyzes them mathematically. And the more your habits stabilize, the clearer your pattern becomes. But here's the part that blows most people's minds. Amazon's predictive engine is no longer about e-commerce alone. It's feeding AWS clients, logistics partners, manufacturers, advertisers, and even content creators. The predictions you trigger ripple into thousands of decisions far beyond your screen. When a customer in Chicago opens a product 5 times, the ripple might affect stock levels in Dallas. When thousands of customers hesitate on a new brand, that hesitation becomes a global signal. Amazon's intelligence network behaves like a living organism, constantly mapping, adjusting, recalibrating. So where does this all lead? To a world where the most valuable currency is anticipation. A world where companies that can predict behavior before it becomes behavior hold the ultimate advantage. And Amazon, with its massive ecosystem and decades of data, is building the closest thing we've ever seen to a retail time machine. But the big question remains. Is this an unavoidable evolution, a smarter, faster, more efficient marketplace? Or are we inching toward a system where algorithms understand our patterns more deeply than we understand ourselves? The future of commerce won't be defined by who has the biggest warehouse or the flashiest storefront. It will be defined by who controls the invisible layer between desire and decision, the predictive layer. And right now, Amazon is decades ahead. So let me ask you again, now that you've seen the scale, the depth, and the quiet power behind Amazon's machine, is this the peak of modern convenience or a warning sign of a future where prediction becomes control? I want to hear your take in the comments. And if you want more deep, cinematic breakdowns like this one, make sure you subscribe because the next episode goes even deeper. There's a file about you inside Amazon. And no, it's not just your order history or your Prime Video habits or the podcasts you listen to on Amazon Music. It's a unified behavioral profile built quietly over years. A profile so detailed that inside the company, engineers joke that Amazon knows what you want before you want it. But the wild part? It's not a joke. Amazon's system predicts your next purchase with frightening accuracy. And not by reading your mind, but by reading your patterns. Every scroll, pause, revisit, and hesitation, these micro movements become signals. And when enough signals align with millions of similar past behaviors from users like you, the machine fires a prediction. High probability this person is about to buy X. This predictive capability isn't new. In 2014, Amazon filed the infamous anticipatory shipping patent, a system designed to ship products before customers ordered them. Imagine a box heading toward your city, triggered by nothing more than statistical likelihood. Amazon never fully rolled this out globally, but the logic behind it became the backbone of modern inventory strategy. Today, the company doesn't wait for demand. It prepositions inventory based on probability curves, the future arriving just ahead of time. But the real gold isn't what you buy, it's what you almost buy. The product you open 3 times in a week and close without adding to cart. The one you toss into your cart at 1:42 a.m. only to remove it 2 minutes later. The item you compare silently against 2 others. None of these actions appear in your public account, but they matter more to Amazon than your actual purchases because they expose your intentions. An intention is more valuable than a transaction. A transaction tells Amazon what happened. Intention tells Amazon what could have happened, what nearly happened, and what is likely to happen next. And in a world of billions of products and razor-thin margins, understanding intention is the difference between a good retail operation and the most powerful commerce engine on the planet. Amazon captures microsignals that most users don't even know they're generating. How long your thumb stays still on a certain image, how fast you scroll past a product, what colors you linger on, how often you revisit a category, and whether you shop more at night or during lunch breaks. Even the type of phone you use shifts your probability models. A user on an older Android behaves differently from a user on a brand new iPhone. Not better, not worse, just predictably different. This isn't about identifying your name or your face. It's about identifying your pattern fingerprint, a set of behaviors that place you inside clusters of millions of similar behavior types. When you move, the cluster moves with you. When the cluster behaves, Amazon learns. And when Amazon learns, it predicts. But here's where things get deeper. These predictions don't sit in a dashboard. They control inventory flows, delivery promises, recommended prices, product placements, ad auctions, and marketplace rankings in real time. The machine doesn't predict the future, it reshapes it. Amazon's models don't just forecast what customers will do, they forecast what sellers will do. Because the Amazon marketplace isn't a store, it's an ecosystem, and ecosystems produce data. Every seller on Amazon unknowingly feeds the machine. Their inventory levels, their shipping delays, their price changes, their response times, their return rates, their margin crunches. Amazon sees which products are rising, which are collapsing, which sellers will run out of stock, and which ones are about to break their pricing strategy under competitive pressure. And because Amazon's mission is to protect the customer experience, this information shapes everything from buy box winners to search placements. A seller who ships fast gets more visibility. A seller who delays gets buried. A product with rising demand is pushed forward. One with rising complaints is quietly phased out. This is the Amazon flywheel. Optimize for customers, track more traffic, track more sellers, collect more data, optimize even further. But then comes an entirely different dimension: voice intention. Alexa changed the game. When someone says, "Alexa, order more coffee," that isn't a search query. It's a declaration of need. It's raw, unfiltered, instant intention. No comparison pages. No product research. No scrolling. Just intention, fulfillment. The gap between desire and purchase collapses into a single command. And Amazon learns not just what people buy, but how often, at what rhythm, and under what circumstances. morning routines, household patterns, repetitive cycles, seasonal behaviors. These signals strengthen the predictive engine,